It's Ron Reader Digs the Universe. I'm Ron Reader, and this is Ron Reader Digs the Universe. And tonight, the hostile takeover of Houston ISD. Starting in June, the state of Texas, which effectively means conservative white people who don't live here, will be running the Houston Independent School District. No more school board. Instead, there will be some sort of commission composed of conservative white people who don't live here. The takeover, say the conservative white people who don't live here, is justified by a single HISD high school, Wheatley, which comprises less than 1% of all students in the district. Well, Wheatley failed to achieve high enough standardized test scores for 5 consecutive years. Of course, that was some 5 years ago, and Wheatley has made dramatic improvements since then, but the conservative white people who don't live here tell us that doesn't matter, and that the one-time failure of a single school a half-decade ago makes disenfranchising Houstonians direly necessary. Total bullshit. It is very important to remember the observation I made last week when addressing conservatives and education more generally. When you adjust standardized test scores for poverty, American schools are among the best in the world. So it's not an education problem, it's a poverty problem. The only way to fix the schools is to end poverty. And HISD pretty clearly suffers from a poverty problem. Most students in the district are eligible for free or reduced lunch, a common measurement of poverty levels for public school systems. Even so, the state recently rated HISD overall with a B. You know, one step below an A. Really, these people in HISD work their asses off to do so well under such handicapping circumstances. Wheatley itself, as a high school, is no different, really, just a lot more handicapping. 96% of the student population there, virtually all people of color, qualify for free or reduced lunch. But the school has been making massive strides in recent years, again, thanks to its overworked, underfunded, and underpaid faculty and staff. And a bunch of conservative white assholes who don't live here are going to reward all that by kicking out the locals who currently and appropriately run it all. Nothing about any of this hostile takeover has a damned thing to do with improving education. Indeed, it is impossible not to see this in the light of right-wing takeovers of local institutions throughout red state America, like the water system in Flint, the courts in Jackson, and the schools in New Orleans and Detroit. It's always about getting rid of elected people of color and replacing them with unelected white people who don't live there. Usually, such racist reform ends up being worse than whatever the previous situation was, but that's okay because these takeovers clearly happen in order to strengthen white supremacy, not to improve local institutions. You've also got to see this hostile takeover of HISD in terms of these so-called culture wars, the book banning, the transphobia, the homophobia, the sexism, the racism, the need to eradicate all liberal left ideas. One wonders what reforms these unelected white conservatives will force on Houston schools. Gutting sex ed, putting gay and trans youth back in the closet, enforced silence on race. I mean, the problem they're ostensibly here to fix, it doesn't exist, so the sky's the limit. I am extraordinarily pissed off about this, right here in my own city. The Nazis are coming to town to destroy thinking and democracy. Things can only get worse. I'm Ron Reeder, and this has been Ron Reeder Digs the Universe. Join me, Ron Reeder, again next week for another episode of Ron Reeder Digs the Universe. So there were some lines on election day last year here in Houston, and the conservatives in the state legislature have blown this up into fraud allegations. So they're trying to take over elections here too, all about fucking over liberal Harris County. You know, I just about died laughing the first time I heard that a couple of years ago. Liberal Harris County, like we're fucking San Francisco or something. Jesus Christ.